Now that you've got a basic understanding of how ray tracing works and how to optimize it, we can get some practical experience in building materials. So the first thing we'll start with is a standard chrome mirror reflective material. And if you've used 3ds Max in the past with the default scanline renderer, this should be pretty familiar to you because this is the same workflow. In fact, all the materials that you've built in 3ds Max will translate seamlessly over into Mental Ray, and you will not have to do very much, if any, tweaking in order to get it to look good. So all your old materials will still apply just fine in Mental Ray. So I'll go ahead and open up the material editor, or press M on the keyboard, and I'll start by creating a new ray trace reflection material. So I'll give it a name, ray trace reflect. Press enter. And scrolling down, I'm looking for my maps rollout. And if I open that, I'll see all my map channels. And here's the reflection channel. I'll click where it says None to add a new map. And we'll get the material map browser up. Now, since I have Mental Ray as my current production renderer, I see all these new and interesting maps available to me. So anything that's in a yellow parallelogram is a Mental Ray only map. So it will only work if Mental Ray is active. The green ones are standard 3ds Max maps, and they will usually also work just fine with Mental Ray. So I'm going to scroll down. I'm looking for the ray trace map. Here it is, ray trace. Click that and click OK. And now I'm looking at my ray tracer parameters in the material editor. You really won't need to do anything in here. All the defaults will work just fine. It'll translate over to Mental Ray and everything works wonderfully. I will turn on the background in my material editor sample slot so I can see a preview of what this is going to look like. Good. I'm going to go back up to the top level of my material now, and I'll just select my geometry in the views, control clicking on these, and assign that material to the current selection. Do a quick render of that and see what we get. Okay, so with not very much effort, I've got a fairly decent looking chrome material just by putting a ray trace map in a standard material, just like you would with a default scanline renderer. Now I can improve this a little bit because it looks a little bit washed out. You can see it's a bit too bright. So I'm going to go back to my material editor with the M key. And the trick to this is the diffuse color is adding to the reflection. So that's why this is looking a little bit washed out. So for chrome or mirrors, I'm going to want to have a diffuse component that's have a very low value, maybe even 0. Take it all the way down to nothing and see what that does. So I'm going to clone this window so we'll have something to compare it to. And I'll click render. And now you'll see I'm getting a lot better contrast on the reflections just by simply reducing the diffuse component. And that is how you can use the standard materials with the ray trace map within Mental Ray to achieve chrome and mirror reflections.